Three, two, one. Welcome to the STRONGCast show, everybody. I am your host, Zach Evnish, where we talk to you about having a strong mind, a strong body, and living a strong life. And that, in a nutshell, is essentially the way to kick ass and take names. So, in this introduction, I want to talk to you guys about a little Q&A that I had coming through the Facebook pages. Go to zachsfanpage.com, hit the like button. That is the fan page, and the question is, Zach, if I attend your underground strength coach certification, will that give me recognition and help me get my foot into the door into the high schools? I really want to work with high school athletes. The answer to that is, if you're looking to come to my certification to be recognized, that is the wrong thing to be doing. You are already trying to be a sheep. You're trying to be a follower. You are trying to fit in, which is a huge mistake. You want to be able to look at coming to my certification to increase your knowledge big time of being a strength and performance coach. That is the number one goal that you should be focusing on as a coach, getting better, improving your skills so you can change the lives of athletes. Number two, and I'm going to make this short and sweet, through my many years of experience in training athletes, I have found that it is like banging your head against a brick wall trying to connect with high school coaches. Even teams with a losing record, a horrible losing record, these coaches will rarely, if ever, respond to you. The best thing to do is make your connections through individuals, through athletes, through the parents of athletes. Deliver outstanding results, and those parents will be the connectors. They will connect you with other parents who are supportive, who are willing to invest in their child. When I've reached out to coaches, I'd say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, I get no luck from it. Here and there, yes, there is a supportive coach, but it is quite rare. Training athletes is not easy. As much as you might love, to want to train athletes, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. They're going to do the come and go type thing. But if you feel that you were put on this earth to make athletes strong in mind, body, life, then it's something that you should pursue. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. Training athletes requires you to truly care. And when you care, you will no longer worry about fitting in or following the herd. You will be more in tune with getting out there and changing the lives of these athletes. Because if you're a follower, you'll be like the majority who are just trying to fit in and not really caring about the success of these athletes. When you truly care, the haters are going to arise, and that's where you need to be somebody who stands out and not worry about fitting in or being quote-unquote nationally recognized. Let's get on with STRONGCast number 12 with my boy, Tommy Hacksaw Hackenbruck. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, action. Welcome to the show, Tommy Hackenbruck, to the STRONGCast, and welcome everybody for coming to hang out. This is going to be a fun interview. Tommy's one of my heroes, not just in CrossFit, but all things in life, just straight up ass kicker. So, dude, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Always love catching up.
You're the best, dude. You always fire me up. I love seeing all the stuff that you put out there. You're not the most tech kind of guy, so you're worse than me. But the stuff that you put out always fires me up. So we're going to do a little introduction here. You own a couple of CrossFit facilities out in Utah, and you guys are two-time team affiliate cup champ for CrossFit. Am I correct? The CrossFit Games?
Yep.
2 times in a row. You're a veteran of the Kokoro camp. I don't know how many people have gone to that thing more than once outside of you.
Hopefully it'll start a trend. I want to see how many idiots are out there.
Holy crap. That is so funny. So, man, I want to let you do the intro, but I want to let people know, I mean, you're just straight up great guy, genuine guy. You're a family man. You're a CrossFitter. You're just a great guy, man, and you're tough as nails. And be cool. We'll talk to people about, you played college football, lost all this weight, and you're not really the prototypical CrossFit high level guy, being that you're tall, you're a big guy, and most of the guys really at that higher level are probably 5'7", 185, 195 kind of thing. You really don't fit. You don't fit the mold. So let's give everybody a little intro about who you are and what you have going on right now, and then we'll roll from there.
Yeah, man. Shit. I mean, you oversold me already, so I don't know what else I'm gonna say. I don't know. Just I'm a lot like you, man. Just follow my passion. Just try to kick the shit out of every day, and just love what you do. So it's kind of led me in a ton of different directions, but I think that's what leads a lot of us into this type of environment, like guys who are doing fitness and mix and match and doing different things, CrossFit, strongman stuff, bodyweight stuff, like a lot like kind of your background. It's just maybe a little bit of ADD mixed with some passion and and a little bit of ambition. But just got into this CrossFit stuff, and more or less just as a tool to kind of as a competitive outlet, I'd say is probably like the reason. Didn't really have any need to pursue fitness or any desire to. I guess I had need to, but didn't have any real desire to pursue fitness. I was just doing other stuff. So the competition stuff attracted me to it, and then it's just I've really always kind of had a passion for coaching. My dad was a high school football coach. I've always loved working with kids teams when I was in high school, when I was in college, and after college, coaching 8th grade teams. So there's always been like a kind of a love of coaching. Runs deep in my family. Had another grandpa who coached basketball for like 60 years in Oregon. And so I love coaching, love teaching. So it kind of, just turned into this really cool thing and something I could do, share with my wife, and we run the gym together, and she's a, fantastic trainer. I've learned more from her than anybody. So it's been pretty cool, kind of find everything, but yeah, currently just, running the gyms, try not to mess those up. Coaching athletes, try not to mess them up, and getting ready for the CrossFit Open and the 2014 CrossFit Games. But just kind of family first, then gym, then and then kind of competition after that. So
interesting.
Busy.
So how many locations do you guys have right now?
We got 3 right now. So it's kind of accidentally somewhat. Have one location that was getting way too crowded about a year and a half ago, and so we tried multiple things. Looking for different leases. Just it's been kind of a struggle. So we eventually got into this huge project of buying a building, remodeling it. Which still keep my fingers crossed will be a good thing, but it got delayed so bad that it was supposed to be ready last June. So when it kept getting pushed back, we're like, we need more space for our clients, and so we just signed a lease, July 1st. And so basically we've opened 2 gyms in like 3 months apart from each other.
So you bought a building, but because of the delays, you decided to lease one before the one you purchased was ready.
Yeah. But while we were still paying for the new one that we purchased that we can't use. So it's been interesting. The 2 of the gyms, the downtown one that we're remodeling is going to be huge, going to be nice. So we're kind of tossing around the idea of closing down the original and just moving everything, because it's only 2 miles away.
Okay.
So and it's way more space. So we may just have 2. It's just been, it's hard to manage, like having 3 different places that run out of toilet paper, and 3 different places that the key broke in the door locker. Just a little stuff that that kind of pops up once every few days. It's like, let's apply that by 3.
I always say how to see. I'm not a management type guy. I got the 2 places, and my gyms are so small compared to what people are opening today in CrossFit. I mean, my one gym is like 1,000 usable square feet. The other one's like 2,200 square feet. So a lot of people that listen to the podcast, they are strength coaches. They are aspiring strength coaches. Where do you get like your management skills from, or do you just tell your wife, you're like Bobby Joe, hey, take care of this for me? Where do you come up with like your ability to manage not just the gyms, but also you are on you guys are, like I said, the 2-time Affiliate Cup team champs, so you have to manage team training. I mean, where do you get your management skills from? Who has inspired or have you learned from so much that put you into this role?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I've read a lot of like entrepreneurial type books, a lot of business books. Just, I wouldn't say any like one thing is just, pure gold, but I guess the best lessons I've had to help me through this stuff, a lot of it comes from like successful entrepreneurs, not like, corporate manager type influences. So, and then basically it's just like fail, but learn from it. So it's a lot of just motivation, a lot of kind of following your passion, doing what you really believe in. The Kokoro stuff that I learned at the SEALFIT camps is huge. Just, a huge part of it is the team stuff. So luckily it's easy for me to cross that bridge between, coaching a team and a group of athletes, and then, running a gym where we have a very small core unit of trainers, about 8 to 10 of us. So it's really all interrelated. And probably aside from my dad, the biggest influence in my life has been Urban Meyer, who's my college football coach. Last 2 years at Utah, he's at Ohio State now. So just seeing him and the way he managed, the Utah football organization when he was there, and other coaches, and the way he, the leadership skills he possessed, to get players to do what they needed to do, and kind of creating a vision, for the organization. This is what we've tried to do here at U CrossFit, and then also with my team. It's like we start with that big vision of, hey, let's go win the CrossFit Games. Not in a cocky way, but like, you gotta start with the big picture, and then it's like, okay, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna break it down into each individual piece of the team, and how do you make sure that each individual piece is going to be effective and help us win. What do certain people need to work on, what they need to get better at. So just kind of taking the big vision. And when he came into Utah, we lacked that vision. We had a ton of talent. There's probably the 5 years I was there, there's probably about 8 guys still playing in the NFL. Numerous guys that went on to play. So, like any successful college football program, but he brought in that vision. We were like a 7-4 team, a 5-6 team. And he came in, he was like, fuck that, why should we ever lose a game? Why not us? Why don't we go 12-0? Why don't we play in the BCS? He just convinced us that there's really nothing stopping us if we were willing to put in the work. And it was pretty, I don't know. It just, I guess if you haven't been in a situation like that, it's hard to maybe break through those barriers, because a lot of people, I think, put barriers on themselves that are unnecessary. And you're big on that, the mental approach and breaking through. And so if you start that vision and that goal, and like with your wrestlers, bro, don't tell some 13-year-old, hey man, like if you work hard, you could take 5th in state. That's nobody's goal is to take 5th.
Right.
So you got to sell it from the beginning. Like, we're here champions, and same thing with the business. It's like, it's harder to quantify that. It's like, how are you a good CrossFit gym? How are you, is it measured in, numbers? Is it measured in number of clients? Is it measured in quality? Because you could have a lot of clients. You could offer deals. You could be cheaper. So there's just so many different ways to run a gym, and I don't think there's any one right or wrong way. But we basically quantify our success as a gym and our client success. So how much good feedback we're getting, how many clients are making positive changes in their lives. How many people walk out the doors feeling better than when they walked in. And, and so I think every gym can pursue that and try to be, we want to be the best gym. And, it's not some competition and you're not going to get ranked and all that, but I think that's where you should set your sights. And in my, my perspective, to be the best gym, you're changing the most people's lives effectively, and so that's, whether that means you have classes of 5 people, or that means you have 1,000 square foot gym, it doesn't matter. It's the quality of what goes on in each class. So, long-winded answer for that, but
I think that's good. I think gets people to kind of understand like where you're coming from. It sounds like we couldn't. It sounds like we couldn't change you if we wanted to. Meaning, your that passion and that the quality that you want. Like we couldn't send you to like a special corporate seminar and say, Tommy, the way for you to measure the success of these CrossFit gyms that you have is like you need to be making this many thousands of dollars a month, this and that. Like I think people have it in their heart. Like you either care about seeing people succeed and believing in kind of like the big success, like what you're saying. Like I would never tell a kid, hey, you got to go for 5th. I say, big thing that I've learned is that like if you're just going to do something, like what you're saying is like be there, be present, and just do it to the best of your ability. So if you're going to train people, whether it's 5 or 50, then you need to change the lives of everybody that's going through there. I don't know if we could teach that stuff, but it's certainly the environment. I mean, the things that you do, being in CrossFit, going to SEAL Fit, learning from Mark. So this seems like it's something that's kind of like in your heart. What about when, organizing a team, you've got the CrossFit team, the affiliate team. Are all those competitors your coaches, or are they people that lift at your gym? How did you assemble that team?
You take what you can get, so it's until there's a, big money in it. And that's probably when, I'll disappear out of the ranks. Cause that's just, that's not my thing. If I had a bunch of money to throw at people, I'd try to do it, but I just don't feel like that's, fits in my skill set. But, basically I take what I can get. So about half our team last year was coaches. The other half wasn't, but it kind of started, I guess I had some success at the individual, and then next year a girl moved down, her family moved cities, and she needed a job as a trainer. We needed a trainer. So she started our gym, and we kept her on because she was a really good trainer, and she happened to be a really good athlete, but that's not really why we kept her. And then I guess it just kind of attracted more talent. So we ended up having a few people switch over from another gym that just wanted to compete and be challenged. So one of the girls switched over just to train with this girl who was at my gym. So I don't know. It's just kind of grown organically. I've never really actively like gone out and recruited people like, hey, come be on our team, you'll go to the games type of thing.
Right.
So there's a couple people I've had conversations with I've known for years where like I knew they were kind of training on their own or had moved cities or something. I was like, hey, if you want to come by our gym and try it out, just how I'd recruit any, client, whether they're, good athlete or not, or a games type of person. So a lot of people have just switched over because of that, but it's pretty easy to, I guess, to figure out who the best ones are. That's the easy part, is like knowing, which pieces are the right pieces. And you just base it off whatever, talent's available at your gym. The hard part's just keeping it fun and keeping it, enjoyable, I guess, without burning people out. And, cause I never wanted to, I think as soon as it starts feeling like it's a job type of thing, like nobody's making that good of money, So as soon as it starts feeling like a job, it's the success is going to go away fast. So try and keep it fun, interesting.
Maybe they'll start, I know the individual games, the prize money's getting big, the sponsorship is big. So it'll be interesting to see how the team stuff goes. But you're right. I think like I was listening to an interview with your buddy Jason Khalipa, and he was like, dude, if you think you're going to be able to like work this hard, this consistently, because you're chasing the dollar, like it's just not going to happen. He's like the prize money. He's like, that's just not why he trains so hard. And I think it's the same, like, with you, like this morning, you're training people, and not as many affiliate owners are kind of like still in the mix training people. They've moved away from the training and they've gone more into like the management role and kind of overseeing the big picture. But I'm probably more like you. Like I don't like doing all the office management stuff, but that's a huge part of the business. But my favorite times is just like when we're throwing down and everybody's crushing it, because I guess that's why we got into it in the first place. So talk to us about how kind of like, what does your day look like? You were up pretty early. I don't know if you had a class or you had a private session. You've got kids. How many kids you have?
Yeah, 2, 5 and 4.
A boy and a girl, or two?
Yeah, boy and a girl. Boy's older.
Okay,
yeah.
And of course my dogs will be going nuts here. So talk to us about
boy and a girl, baby.
Yeah, this is like I don't try to pretend my life is anything calm at all. Sometimes I'm working down in my basement. Other times I got my 2 crazy dogs here. But it's my day is hectic. What does your day look like? You were up early this morning training people.
Yeah, it starts at 5 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Friday, my wife goes in early, and so I just hang out with the kids in the morning. So kind of Friday's my day to just chill at home.
Yep.
But it starts usually coach a class or 2, and then I'll have a private client that comes in a couple times a week. Try and get as much kind of office email stuff like that done as I can before 9 a.m. because after that I'm pretty worthless. So it's a very, very small window. Very small window to get office work done for me.
Yeah.
Need to be heavily caffeinated, and it needs to be early in the day.
There's no such thing. Ever since Kelly Starrett was on the CrossFit Journal, and Savan said, "Oh, you're getting coffee. Isn't coffee back?" Kelly was like, "He's like, I think if you drank more coffee, it'll only make your kidneys stronger." So ever since then, I stopped believing any like rule or law of 2 cups of coffee is too much. I'll just keep drinking until I run out of time.
Yeah.
So you've got this heavy or this hectic morning. You're up at 5, or your first class is at 5 a.m.?
I'm up at 5. I'm leave the house at 5:30, and then first class I coach is at 6. So our earliest classes are 5:15. I got a class at 5:30. I usually coach at 6 a.m. So coach mostly beginner classes now.
Yep.
With the new people and kind of introducing them to everything.
What are some of the to just kind of like jump in before you finish how your day goes? You're coaching a lot of new people, and the way CrossFit has evolved, and just your kind of evolution of I don't know if that was. I figured that was my phone with the dogs barking. I figured it would have to be another one of my things here.
I'm distracting you.
What are some of the things that you've changed? Also, being like your different training experiences, like being, going through these SEAL Fit classes, being a SEAL Fit, I think you're one of the instructors now for Kokoro. So you've gone through a lot of different changes of your own through training. You've seen a lot of things. Like, how are you training people when they start CrossFit now? What are some things that you feel are real important?
It's evolved a ton, but like our beginners program has evolved multiple times. What we do now is basically a 3-hour kind of crash course.
Yep.
One time for everybody, like first thing they do, and just take them through all the movements, and then we require a month of beginner classes after that.
Okay.
And they can stay in the beginner class as long as they want. But basically those classes, we do the same workout, so these guys are getting used to kind of digesting what's on the board and the flow of the class and everything, but they're being walked through it. And the big emphasis now on new people is I really emphasize kind of modifying in different ways. So it's the obvious way to modify something is just always either use lighter weight or do a movement, scale a movement they can't do. If they can't ring row or something like that. So that's always more obvious. But what we're emphasizing more lately is combining that, but also, scaling volume as well, because I think that's something that often gets overlooked. And, new people, and even sometimes, clients who've been around for a while, you have to kind of be conscientious of how much volume they're going through. And, everybody's body recovers differently, different ages, especially I've noticed, people over 40, and then the higher you get up there, the volume is a bigger factor than the movements themselves. The people just can't handle as much stress to their bodies. So
And they don't even
trying
need,
to
yeah,
be
they don't need it.
that stuff.
Yeah, it's like they don't even need that much. Like it's like even as I think we get older, even though we're in our 30s, I just feel like we've learned to get more from less. But you mentioned like that you're scaling things. Some people say, oh, if you're scaling, you're failing. So I don't agree with that. Like I just feel like, when we train our athletes, like we have the main workout, but if you can't do pull-ups, then I've got you doing recline rows. If you're not ready for back squats, then I've got you doing goblet squats. Just some people aren't ready for the bar on their back as fast as the next person, even though they've been training the same amount of time. Did you ever get caught up just kind of like hearing certain things being said in the CrossFit community, like this is the way you should be running your classes, this is the way you should do an on-ramp? Like you said, you just do a crash course. What was that, a 3-hour or 3 1 hours?
No, 3 hours straight, and then but then they have to go like mandatory month of beginner classes.
Okay.
And then the way the beginner classes are structured, we have CrossFit style workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday is what we call interval class, which is open to beginners or anybody else. And essentially, the interval class is just a good workout, good sweat, but movements and stuff that's designed to not make people sore. So it's going to help them, recover from the stuff. So basically, I kind of classify it as like stuff that's going to be more destructive, meaning like stressful on your joints, on your elbows, knees, and then like the more technical movements. So kind of like stressful on the joints, and then technical stuff Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday is stuff that's not going to stress your joints as much, like the rowing machine, the Concept 2 rower, the Concept 2 ski erg, the Airdyne bike, battle ropes, sled pushes. Nice. Just kind of creatively putting together different, interval style training sessions, do a lot of team workouts, group people and like 2 to 4 people, basically just try and make it really fun.
Yeah.
But kind of protect people because everybody wants to get fit. Like there's no excuse to be like, okay, you're in the gym, it's going to take 3 months before you learn this stuff. Like that's unacceptable. As a trainer, there's enough simple movements you can do while you're teaching everything else, So every day it's just like I try and make sure everyone gets better. So I want to make sure everybody gets a little better at the movements, learn something new, and then also make sure they get a good workout. There's no excuse for people to not get a good workout. But at the same time, like you're talking about, you don't have to do an RX to get a good workout. Like there's no scale of like the harder the workout the better it is, or if you can do everything and not go to failure, then you're not getting anything out of it. Like I found a lot of times people get more out of it if they are more comfortable with what they're doing. They can actually push the intensity more. If the weight's too heavy or if the movement's too complicated for them, the intensity just goes in the gutter. So there's a balance. You gotta teach, and you gotta mix in the more technical stuff, because there's so much value in that. Like I'm never gonna not have people do snatches and cleans. There's just too much value in those movements.
Right.
So there is a necessity to teach those and to use those in classes. But I think the creativity, is what really can make a big difference. In being able to give people good workout, also being able to make them learn the movements better and kind of combine all that.
Legit. So we're going to come back to some of that program and stuff. I just want to keep rolling with how your day goes. So right now, what is it, 8 or am I 2? Yeah, so I'm 2 hours ahead of you. And so right now you're going to get some office work done. Then what happens around lunchtime? You're back to training people. What does it look like?
Yeah, I got the team's coming in about 9:30. So, or not just a team, but just some guys I work out with. So Yeah, but probably work out for the next 2 hours.
2 hour workout.
Yeah, it's usually how long, warm up, cool down. Getting old, man. It takes a little while to kick off the dust before I get to it. But
Nice.
we'll have a nice long training session. Just grab something to eat quickly, come back, finish up whatever emails, office stuff like that. And then, the afternoon is kind of, it just depends on how the day goes. I feel like there's always office stuff I could do. I'm just not very effective at, time management. So basically from like 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., if I get everything wrapped up early, I'll just go hang out with the kids. They get out of school at 2:30.
Yep.
No, sorry, 3:30. So I'll hang out with them, for a couple hours. If I don't get stuff wrapped up, I just kind of grind away. And then most evenings I coach again at like 6 p.m. So I'll be in the gym. I'll kind of watch our coaches at like 5. And then I'll coach classes at 6. And then, usually computers, like not computer stuff, but there's always, someone wants to buy a bag of protein or whatever, so takes about a half hour to get out of the gym and then get home and spend some time with the family.
Yeah. So this is I think a lot of people when they hear about this, they're like, man, it must be awesome, but they don't realize like it's up early, home late, but really manage the time very well. Like you find that midday time to get with your kids, picking them up from school. Fridays, kicking back a little bit. You got a 2-hour workout. It's tough to be obviously running multiple gyms and keep training and going hard. What are some of the life lessons that you've picked up just now that you have these multiple locations? What have you really learned about life itself since getting busier?
Once things are going well, it's I think I learned that it's okay to say no. That's kind of one thing I had to learn how to do because there's more opportunities and they're all good.
What are some things you say no to? You don't have to answer if anything you don't want to answer, but any certain things that you were like, man, like you hear too many other people saying yes to it, but you decide to say no to that one or two things.
Yeah, just sales calls and stuff like that, and people wanted to, or if people want to come by the gym and do some, or we had people that wanted to do parkour at our gym, and it was like, that'd be really cool. They want to do on Saturday afternoons, but at the same time, it's like now I'm going to be at home on Saturday stressing, like wondering if the gym's getting locked up properly, and so just like, is it worth the energy? Going and competing in competitions and traveling. I've done a lot this fall, and I just learned that it was too much. I had to take a couple things off the itinerary. And hated doing it, so I'm trying to be better about managing that stuff. Like for me now, it's like, okay, understand that you're only capable of doing so much, because I really, the one thing I never want to do is make a commitment and then break it. So I try and never do that, but just have to be really picky and choosy about stuff. There's so many things I want to do, and there's so many things that would be good for our gym and good for our business. But just have to, pick the ones that are most important. And that, that falls, like the main thing I've learned is through this whole journey and process is just that the priorities are the most important. I went through a phase where I was still trying to train for the CrossFit Games as an individual, and just basically just like kind of hating life and from all angles. It's like I'd be training and I'd be like, I'd be in the middle of my session or whatever and be like, man, this is bullshit. There's so much stuff that needs done at the gym. I'm missing my family. Like I shouldn't be training. But then I'd skip a training session. I'd be like, oh man, I'm letting, my buddy programs my workouts. I'm letting him down. I'm letting, my family down because I should be training for the games and I'm not. And so, I just had to realize like, okay, the family's a priority. And it always was. But then to me, it really became like the gym's a bigger priority than competitions and all that. So, there's been weeks where I've gotten in, 10, 11 workouts in a week, which is a lot. And there's been weeks I've done one, multiple weeks where I've done like literally one workout the entire week.
When you do one workout a week, what is that one thing that you do?
I usually just try and kill myself on the Airdyne bike or something, just like hard interval sprints or something like that. If it's one of those weeks, it means I'm just grinding like, morning and night. One of the weeks is I was doing a remodel project here at this gym, so I was one night I didn't sleep at all. Another night I slept like 2 hours. Like I was trying to get everything looking awesome. We were having a level 1 cert, so I was like, I gotta get the gym perfect. I repainted the whole thing, just being stupid. And so at that point, it's like, okay, I'm not sleeping. My nutrition's shitty. I'm stressed out. Like I'm not gonna go lift a bunch of heavy weights and hurt myself.
Right.
So yeah, if in my body, if I know I'm not feeling good, I just try to kill myself with cardio stuff, which is probably even worse, for cortisol and all that. But so sometimes you need it. You know how it is. So,
I know. Sometimes you just gotta like not really pay attention to all the science behind it. And I say like, we're kind of anybody that's an entrepreneur doesn't really have that perfect day or that perfect ending. So it's great to hear how you roll with the punches. And I think, it's interesting. Like you got these 3 locations and people are probably like, Tommy's probably got people painting the gym for him and he's got these people doing it. What about, you talk about your buddy, like programming stuff. You've got 3 locations. How do you guys program the workouts? Who does that? One person sends out like an email to each first guy in, or how does it work?
We publish everything on the website. So my wife and I kind of both work on the programming. There's been times where she does all of it, for regular classes. But usually we have some kind of competitive program going on that's kind of separate from the regular program because different training goals. So people they're not like exclusive or they're open to whoever. But I'll always write the competitive training stuff. My wife will always write the regular stuff. Sometimes we'll collaborate, but basically just post them, and then we leave some a lot of liberty for our coaches to kind of change things up because one gym has a nice turf field in it. They'll do some awesome sled pushes and stuff. So we don't want to be stuck writing these workouts that work for every gym perfectly, because then it's like we got all this cool stuff and we're never using it. So they have a lot of liberty to kind of modify and tweak things, and we've had enough meetings with our trainers that they know what we expect. It's like, hey, instead of doing rowing, you could do burpees, or you could do sled pushes, or kind of similar type of stuff. Like, hey, the goal here is not just we're not all professional rowers. Like rowing's great, but we're just trying to get your heart rate up. You can go for a run, you can do these other movements. Like just make sure it makes sense. Don't substitute at one gym, have people doing running 800s, another gym have them doing like maxing their front squat. Like that's not really, just basically trying to go for the same stimulus.
That would be an interesting scale. This running, next thing instead of running is going to be max effort front squats.
Yeah, people would want to do that. Okay, if you got bad ankles, instead of running, we're just going to, heavy front squats. Cure everything.
Oh, they say for heavy squats, cure everything. Let's. I know your time is crunched. You got to cut out. I want to ask you 2 quick questions, and we'll come back down the road for a part 2. Number 1, you said, I'm getting old. Takes longer to warm up, cool down. Give us some training tips for people that want to remain competitive. They're in their 30s. Maybe they are gym owners or just busy people in general. Give us some real important training tips that you feel people need to implement as they're getting busier, older, that are just critical. It could be training or lifestyle tips.
Yeah. I think one, I'm not getting that old, but I what I've noticed is, that old saying, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. It kind of holds true. I found like I could still, put out just fine, but it's that, come back day after day, a couple days in a row. One of our coaches here, Brandon, he's 25. That third day he's just crushing me. But the first day I'm beating him. So, it's just hard to keep coming back and recovering. So you got to really listen to your body. I think more as you get older. I think there's kind of an art to it. You start to learn what you should and shouldn't do and what feels okay. But I focus more on quality. I just try and get the most out of every movement, the most out of every session. And then I've added in a lot of, when I have the time, I've added in a lot of cardio. And when I do add in a lot of cardio, I feel really good. And, it doesn't have to be killer, interval hard stuff, but just, even like light spinning on the bike or a row or something like that. When you're watching TV at home, you'll get a bike you can spin on, just be moving, get the heart rate up a little bit. So the more, the more experience I get, the more volume I can handle, the older I get. You just have to kind of balance everything out. You have to actively like do stuff to recover. You don't just recover by sleeping for 2 hours like an 18-year-old. So you have to emphasize that a little bit more. But you can still kick the crap out of the young guys because you're more experienced. You're stronger. You're wiser.
Man strength.
Exactly. You rely on your experience and all that stuff, and just focus more on training smarter.
Yep.
Than just trying to crush every workout every day.
Right. So how many workouts are you getting? Let's say you're not prepping for a competition. You training once a day. How many days a week?
A good week. In the fall would be just one workout a day. I'd say I train 6 days a week. 4 of those will be like pretty hard sessions, and 2 of those will be more like kind of good quality stuff, but lower intensity and more recovery type of stuff. So
gotcha.
I feel like I can stay really fit, and still make some pretty significant gains, with just 4 hard sessions a week, and then spend some time on recovery.
Nice.
I don't feel like I make gains any faster, getting closer to competition, those 2-3 times a day training. I don't feel like I really make any gains as far as like, on one workout. It kind of just conditions your body to do those 3 workouts in a day, and be good on day 3. That's where you'll see where I see the biggest difference. If you look at the guys who are winning the CrossFit Games, the guys who are, winning competitions and finishing on the podium, it's not really about their placings on day 1. It's about their placings on day 3. Like you see the cream rise to the top at the end of the competition.
Right.
I think that's just a testament to how much they grind. The guys like Jason and Rich, like how much work they're putting in and day out throughout the year. It shows up on the 3rd day, or the 4th day or whatever.
You're right. Like two days of training is definitely doable. That 3rd day, your body can feel hammered, especially if it's, which it always is. It's a day of lots of pulling and squatting and carrying, and that's the stuff that crushes you. And by that 3rd day, man, that's no joke.
Look at Rich Frona. He's amazing across the board.
Right.
But you look at the CrossFit Games, like who takes first on the last, workout 9, 10, 11. The last 3 workouts of competition, first. It's like, okay, that's a difference, and that guy's, he's sick and twisted. He's working out 8, 10 times a day or whatever the heck he does. But it's that, he's just put in so much work and outworked the competition, and that's where it shows up. Yeah. It's like, this is why he does what he does.
AJ Roberts was talking about that, just like when he did the CrossFit powerlifting, like the volume that Rich does during the regular training is why when he does the games, he rises to the top on during that last day, because it's like another training week for him. Whereas he goes for everybody else, it's more of a shock. Sometimes, those that volume stuff and just pushing yourself out of the perfect training realm is good because, as you know, for what you did prepping for Kokoro, and I remember last time we spoke, you like woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and took like a long run with your rucksack on to prep your mind more so than your body to be training in the middle of the night and to wake up when you probably were sleepy and didn't really want to wake up. So that mental thing is huge for the competitors. And obviously, do you think like if you weren't as mentally tough, you'd be able to run more than one gym? Probably not.
No, I would have given up by now. I'd be happy with where I was at. There's the three is getting to be a little bit too much. I love it, and I think I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, I want more gyms. I want to have 100 gyms. It's not like I'm doing it because I want to give our clients enough space to work out. I don't want the classes to be crowded, and I think at a certain point we're just going to have to kind of put a cap on how many people come in the gym, which I don't think it's going to be a serious deal, but I'd rather do that than keep going because it's the quality is too important. It's already really hard to keep the quality super high as it is, and so I feel like if we add any more to our already full plate, it's just gonna it's not gonna be worth it anymore. Because if the quality's not high, then I'm like miserable all day because I'm just stressed about it. I got to feel good about our product and what we're doing.
Yeah, that's great. You have great ethics, and many times for when a business grows better, it's because they've removed things from the business, and then that's what allowed them to focus more and grow more. Versus more gyms is better, as opposed to like what you're saying. We're going to actually put a cap on membership. We're going to get rid of one of these gyms or consolidate it into one location. And when you'll operate better that way. So I've heard it. Not just I'm probably going to be doing that down the road myself. Like with I've got 2 gyms, and for me that's one too many.
Yeah.
But I've heard of it. I remember I spoke to a guy who owned a landscaping business and a snow removal business in Chicago. He got rid of the snow removal business, and then they like doubled their income, and that was a year it didn't even snow in Chicago. So he got rid of the landscaping, kept the snow removal. He's like, now I could just focus more. I don't have to manage all these people. He's like, we focus on one thing, and that's what we're great at, and I thought that was awesome. I know you got to train. Not sure how many people have interviewed you, Tommy, or the questions they ask, but I like to ask, like, what question do you wish people would ask you so that you could share this, like, information, with the world that would inspire other people, or something that you feel would be really beneficial? Do you wish they asked you a question about something with family, something with training, something with CrossFit? What question do you wish people would ask you?
Man, that's a tough one. Probably oh no, I don't know. I'll share a quote. Share my favorite quote from my college coach, from Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Favorite quote from him is, "The sole purpose of a leader is to set a standard of excellence and demand that those around you live up to that standard."
I love that.
That's my favorite quote. So I like the there's a lot of so many, like, what is leadership and all that stuff, but I like the demanding part is the difference between him and everybody else I've seen. And it's basically it's that having that integrity and basically very few people demand excellence. A lot of people set the standard well. A lot of people lead by example, and that's great. But I find myself, constantly, I chicken out. I think it's the scariest thing sometimes to demand that of others. Like, to me, setting the example, and I'm not saying I'm like the best example, but to me, like just pushing and grinding and trying to set a good example is easy. But sometimes, the demanding it, like, you got to call people out sometimes, and you got to do, you got to do it with love. You can't you're not calling them out just to be a jerk and be like, that wasn't good enough, do better. But it's got to come from the heart. But that's stuck with me since college.
How do you do something like that with love? How do you call people out with love? I feel like I tell my kids too, like, I got text messages yesterday from kids, wrestlers, and we're like 3 weeks away from the districts to prepare for the states. And, I called a lot of them out. I'm like, dude, you haven't been here for 3 weeks. Or I'm preparing you to wrestle in Pennsylvania. Or this is your final year. I was like, listen, I wouldn't even text you if I didn't give a shit. But I was like, I care so much about you succeeding that it pisses me off when you don't show up. And I think they get it. And but my wife says that people like me are the hardest to work for because we demand such a high level of excellence. We want everybody to be great, and they say it's hard. How do you do it with love?
I mean, just exactly that. Like, it's just got to come from the right place. I mean, it's there's. I think you got to get your mind right before you do it. So to me, like a lot of times, I'll see something and I have to kind of check myself. Like I'm like, okay, I want to deal with that, but then I get scared. I'm like, do I just let it go? Do I call it out? And so I have to check myself. I'm like, okay, am I doing this to make this person a better person? So I guess with love just kind of means you evaluate personally, make sure I'm not doing it because I'm just having a bad day, or I'm not doing it because, they did something that pissed me off a couple weeks ago and I'm holding a grudge. Like I got to kind of, clear my conscience and clear my heart and just be like, okay, I'm coming at you from a good place of this is me caring about you. And so if I get my mind right and then I go talk to them, it usually, I find the right words, or I find the right thing to say. It's not always about saying the right words and saying the perfect thing. You're married, I am too. So we understand that. It doesn't matter what I say, sometimes Bobby Joe's going to take that however she wants to. I could give her some great compliment, or come home with a gift that I bought her, and she's already convinced that I bought it for myself. She's like, oh, you just got that so you can use it. So it's not always about, just what you say. It's about where your heart's at, I think, and because people, like the way we communicate as humans, it's so much more than just the words we're saying. That's why I'm so entertaining on social media, because I always put my foot in my mouth and say the wrong shit. But if you guys could just see my face as I'm tweeting these things, you'd understand that I mean well.
Dude, this is so funny. Listen, man, I know you got to go. We're gonna cut this STRONGCast now. There's a couple ways that people can connect with you. I'm gonna link up your Twitter account. That's so funny. We've got WOD Tours. They're talk to us, like quick 30-second commercial about what happens with you and WOD Tours.
Yeah, it's the first time we've done this, but I'm kicking off. It's basically like a training camp in my gym. It's April 11th, April 13th, but it's kind of my own version of a kind of CrossFit Games regionals type training camp, getting people prepared. It's going to be a mix of a lot of like one-on-one instruction and coaching people like skills. Gaming workouts are going to do a lot of testing stuff, and just kind of guiding people through that. Like, hey, let's approach it this way, and then kind of debrief after the workout. Like, okay, how'd it go? What can you learn from this experience? Just trying to teach people how to be smarter competitors to give them that edge.
Yep.
And then there's going to be a little bit of mental toughness training mixed in there. So there might be a couple surprises. Everybody's going to be staying at the gym, kind of like a camping style.
Yes.
So there's, you'll get some good sleep, but maybe not all at once.
And I guess I'll tell people, hopefully there's no hose out there. It could be a little Kokoro experience going on in the middle of the night.
No spraying people in the face. It's not that extreme, but
oh man,
yeah, just some good team training. So ideally, I'd love to have 5 teams of 6 people come out. It'd be sweet to have the whole team there and have them work together as a unit. But individuals can also come out and we'll do team workouts, we'll do individual workouts. So it's for anybody, but I really would love to work with some teams and train them.
Nice. Awesome. So I'll get that link from you. We're going to link that up here on the blog at undergroundstrength.tv. And you guys are in, what's the name of the towns that you guys are in Utah?
Salt Lake City. It's all Salt Lake City. The little kind of areas are Sugar House, Holiday, and then one gym's in the downtown area.
Excellent. Cool, man. So this was awesome, and I really appreciate you making the time with all the craziness. We're supposed to get snow here again. I don't know. They're not used to prepping with the weather here in Jersey. It's like hit or miss. One winter snow, one winter no snow. So this was awesome. We'll have to do it again. And of course, you might be holding, who knows, the 20X challenge at your gym, and you're also a Kokoro coach now, so people might be seeing you at some of those events as well, right?
I hope so. I'm going to try and get down there again soon and hang out with Mark and the crew.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool.
Tough.
You are the best. Everybody, thanks for tuning into the show, the STRONGCast. This is episode number 12. Tommy Hackenbruck. And once again, make sure you go to undergroundstrength.tv. I'm going to link up all these different ways that you could connect with Tommy and get our updates. Subscribe for those emails. Thanks, everybody, and peace out.
Who's gonna teach you how to dance? Who's gonna show you how to fly? Who's gonna call